Hello class, it's Mr. Wicklehouse, and today we are adding and subtracting rational expressions. So you might think back to when you added and subtracted fractions, and what was the one rule that we had to do when we were adding and subtracting fractions? Yep, find a common denominator. So I'm looking at the denominators of these two fractions here, or these two rational expressions, and I see that b minus 4, b plus 4, they're kind of the same, but they're not the same, so I have to multiply those two things together, just like when I would before. When I did fractions, I would multiply the denominators together, or some form of the denominators. So here I would have b minus 4 and b plus 4, and that's my common denominator. Remember that when you multiply common denominator, to get common denominators, whatever you multiplied one side by, you'd have to multiply the top by as well. So then the top would be 4b times b plus 4. And then because I multiplied this side by b minus 4 to get my common denominator, it would be plus 3 times b minus 4. At this point we're distributing and then combining like terms. So I have 4b squared plus 16b plus 3b minus 12, and all of that is ever b minus 4, b plus 4. Combine like terms, I get 4b squared plus 19b minus 12, and that's all over b minus 4, b plus 4. How great was that? Super great, I'd say. Okay, let's do the second example. Okay. So first thing I want to do, because I can't determine what the factors are of this, of what I might multiply this by. I mean, I could do it by this whole thing, but that seems a little bit crazy. So let's do the first thing we could do, and that would be factoring that term. So what does this factor into? Well, I know I have to multiply two things together to get this, and multiply two things together to get that, then add those things together to get the middle term. Okay? So let's try a couple things. Let's do 5a and 3a. Then I know the possible factors for 6 are 2 and 3 and 1 and 6. So if I do 2 and 3, if I do 2 here and 3 here, that's 15. And 6, that's 21. That didn't get me where I needed to be. What if I do 6 and 1? If I do 6 here, positive 6, and minus 1 here, then that's 5a minus 1, 3a plus 6, well 1 and 6 is negative 6, 5 times 6 is 30, minus 3 is 27, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay. Alright. Now I've got everything factored, so I'm going to figure out what my common denominator is. Well, there's nothing over here that repeats over here, so my common denominator is just going to be 2a times 5a minus 1 times 3a plus 6. And all of that is going to be over top of, because I'm multiplying this by both of these, I do 6a times 5a minus 1 times 3a plus 6. And then I'm adding that to 2a times 3a minus 3. Okay. Alright. So now let's look at this a little bit. We can actually do a little bit of canceling here now. So I know we multiplied the 2a over here, but we've also got 2a in here, which means that had I thought about it and canceled it to begin with, it would have been a little bit easier. But let's just go ahead and get rid of the 2a now. Typically wouldn't do it that way, but that's okay. So I've got 3a times 5a minus 1 times 3a plus 6 plus 3a minus 3, and all of that is over top of 5a minus 1, 3a plus 6. Okay. Now we'll combine some terms together. Let's do some distribution here. So the 3a into this, that's 15a squared minus 3a. Multiplying that by 3a plus 6 plus 3a minus 3. Distribute again. 15a squared times 3a, that's 45a cubed. 15a squared times 6, it's going to be plus 30, 60, 90 a squared. Do the 3a, it's negative 9a squared. Negative 3a times 6 is negative 18a plus 3a minus 3. Combine things together. This is 45a cubed plus 90a squared minus 9a squared is plus 81a squared minus 16a minus 3, all over top of 5a minus 1, 3a plus 6. So you can see that all your factoring, distribution, all that algebra practice that we did with these rational expressions comes into play, and you just have to get used to it. Okay, you just got to keep plugging away and trying to get it done. Alright, subtraction is the same way. I'm not going to do an example of that. So everything's the same with subtraction, except with we'll change the sign to minus instead of plus. Okay. If you have any questions, come and see me. I'll talk to you later.